Hello, hello, and welcome back. What we have here in the corner is a new little tree house. Now, I'm trying to discover which house he likes the best. A bigger one, a smaller one, a cooler glass one, a metal one. There's various types and various weathers. Um, Weather being when your heat is on and when your heat is off, when your air condition's on, when your air condition's off, trying to maintain that typical temperature that they need, that they're most comfortable in. Here is another little thing I got at the dollar store. It's an Easter little vase that I tipped on the side. It's cool as well. I thought he might want a smaller one at the other end. And so, what this video is about is Whisper on his wheel at 4 a.m. and then he ends up going into his sand bath, which I do some shots of that as well. What you see there moving is some fake um, glass mushroom ornaments. They are also from the dollar store. Um, there, there's Whisper on his wheel. So I'm I'm constantly buying him new items, new things to use as a home, above ground, below ground. He still has some of his older homes that I was using. I have found in the past when I had very deep bedding for him to burrow deep, what he did do was he put his body up against the glass to be cooler. Unlike these man-made burrowing, it's not cool. Underground is cool. This bedding isn't cool. And when I talk about burrowing underground, I mean real earth, soil, not this fake bedding, which is full of powder and not very good for them to breathe in, unlike earth, which is compacted and they're not breathing in the soil. This stuff, it's got a lot of powder in it, like toilet paper does, more so the white than the brown paper there, as you see. And so I'm thinking about purchasing all these various homes to go underground, under the bedding, not the ground, sorry, is man-made home for him already made, so that he doesn't have to do all this burrowing and under this fake underground bedding, which is horrible to breathe in. So I'm thinking of just more homes above ground than making it so deep and unhealthy for him for breathing. Um, Various textures and temperatures of ceramic is cooler, glass is cooler, wood's warmer, bedding's very warm, though I'm not going to get into soil. So I'll just, stick with the homes above ground and have the one section behind his brown house there is 6 to 8 inches deep, and that will be for him to have fun to do his natural thing that they do in the wild is to burrow, but it's not soil, you know. And the deeper they go into the earth, the cooler it is in the summer. And then when they come closer to the surface of their various chambers of tunnels, it's warmer as they come to the surface. So they can't regulate the temperature here. And the only way is for you to give them various temperatures of ceramic, glass, when you have your air condition on, it'll make the glass cooler, making the ceramic and the glass things that you purchase for homes cooler. The stuffing is going to get a little bit cooler, but not much. And it's horrible to breathe in. I was affected by it, that I felt very asthmatic, and I don't get that often. So, yes, anyway, we'll get off of that topic there. Definitely not healthy to have it deep like that of fake bedding and for them to burrow. Sure, they can have fun burrowing like they do in real life and in real nature, but this isn't real life nature. This is not soil. You're giving them temporary fun with a short, healthy life. Anyway, we'll get off this topic here and we'll get back into watching Whisper. He will go into the sand bath, and at one point you will see Whisper He will roll around on his back a few times to get the oils from my hands while I was clipping his toenails. I did miss a few nails the last time I clipped his toenails, and they had grown again every 3 weeks or so, 3 to 6 weeks. They need to be clipped again. But anyway, I clipped them all as well as the ones that I had missed, which were long. And then he was exhausted. He went directly to a sand bath to roll around and get my scent and my oils from my hands off of his body. And uh, that's his bath. That's what they do. He's having a bath. They bath in sand, as I've mentioned before, never water. So he's in there. He gets so exhausted. I realize he's probably thirsty, which I was giving him breaks. I was giving him 5-10 minute breaks while I was clipping his toenails. And I was doing it over my bed so that if I did drop him, he was safe. And if he did want to nip me, which he did the first time, but a few times, and it didn't hurt. I had gloves on for extra protection. But this time I had gloves on as well, and he didn't attempt to nip me at all. But I did give him 5 minute breaks. I did put him down in the KT playground, little fence, metal fence that I had on the bed with water there for him to have drinks from being sweaty in my hands. Um, Make sure that the food is out of their pouches. He did try to remove it while I was holding him around the back of the neck. And I saw a piece of food coming out of his mouth, so I put him down. He realized he better drop everything out of the pouches because that's hurting. When you're holding them, and if you're pressing near those pouches, you're pressing it against the inside of their throat, those hard pieces of food. So he did end up emptying the few pieces he had out, and then I continued to clip his toenails as I'm holding him around the back of the neck. I've got a grip around those pouches as well. So do not clip their toenails when they have any food in their pouches. You know, it may look like they have nothing in there. He had a few pieces still in there that didn't look like he had anything anyway. But give them time to drop it, and they will be uncomfortable. And put them down, and they'll drop it, realizing that they need to. So he's going to groom himself, and then I will put a water dish, the blue water dish, in front of the sand bath, realizing he's tired and he needs another drink. And I do that for him to save him going to it. I have water at each end of his terrarium and one in the middle. He'll have a long drink and then he'll go in the sand bath and he will pass out. And he's so tired. And then I will leave him alone. And by that time, it's roughly around 6 a.m. And I started filming this at 4 a.m. And I only filmed it for about 10 minutes. And then I took him out of the sand bath that he was in and clipped his toenails. And then he returned there to take my oils from my hands off of his body. And like I said, he passed out there. So I am going to show you near the end of this video two new purchases. One is a little tree branch, very thick tree branch, about 6 inches tall piece with a hole in it with the ceramic dish sitting down inside the top of it. That, I put some nuts in it. He's used it a few times. That is on top of his new buried maize house. It's hidden underneath the bedding. And I will show you still picture shots of it, how it came from Amazon in the saran wrap, and it only took me 3 minutes to put together. And in the top of it, there's a hole at either end. And I put the stuffing on top, the stuffing underneath, and there was like, I think, 16 holes. So he just had to, the holes were already there. He just had to do the tunneling to and from whatever house, whatever he wanted to use as rooms. But the two top holes in the top of the table, which is bottomless, which is far sanitary than the other house that I had in there, is why I took it out, because it had a wooden bottom. And it was just one big square house. This is more fun. It's got 16 holes, and like all these different rooms. It's a maze. He has far more fun. And so I put the bedding in there. I put it down on top of, 4 or 5 inch bedding. And then I put a layer on top. And then I put the new little tree hideaway on top of it. He filled in those 2 holes. He didn't want them open at the top at all. He only wanted the ones two, one on the right side and one on the front open. So he did it his way. But I did all the work of putting the stuffing there and building it and putting it on top. And then he just had to walk through each chamber and let his body do those tunnels. So then I have a picture of his there. You can see the new treehouse there that I bought. It's in the corner on top of his maze house. Like I said, it's far sanitary because it has no wooden bottom and so much fun. See all the holes there? It only took 3 minutes to put together, and the top of it is good quality. And then they threw in that little dish there made of wood, which they should. I think this is $8 to $10 overpriced anyway. So that should come with it. Even it should still be $8 to $10 cheaper on Amazon. And then the little treehouse that you saw is on top of it. Yeah, and that is like $15 overpriced. But it's a one-time purchase, and I've got it for the future, and it's large enough for future hamsters if I decide to go Syrian, larger hamster. Um, this would be a tight squeeze, this table maze here for a larger hamster. I wouldn't recommend it because I think once their pouches have food in it, they wouldn't be able to fit through there. I wouldn't recommend it for a larger one. I wouldn't think it's fair for them. Then I would have kept. If he was larger, I would have kept the smaller one. Anyway, it's on top of my table on my placemat there, and I had already put it together. I didn't take a picture of it at the bottom, but you can go see on Amazon. We're at the end of the video, and I so appreciate your time and you being here. Have a nice day, and thank you for stopping by. Bye bye. where you saw in the last video him preparing underneath the teeter-totter where he was going to sleep. Well, now he's gone. Finally, he has moved over to the left side of that. There's no picture of that. I'm not showing you that. That's in the previous video. Um, the new house, the 15 inches by 15 inches by 10 inches with the plexiglass in the front. Easy access for me to get in there to clean it. And it just has a hole at the top, if you remember that one in the last video. So what you see here is his old playground. It's moved in front of the sand bath to give him a little more privacy. And hopefully so that he will use it more. He's a little too small, unlike larger hamsters, to climb up on top of those anyway. But he does go in between them, and that's where I put some of his snacks as well for him to forage. I do put food and seeds and shelled nuts throughout his home for him to hunt for, like they do in the wild. So I'll leave you to this music. We're coming up to the end with the pictures of the new purchases that I've done in this last week. He loves the maze house underground with 2 entrances. He's blocked the top entrances to that table. He's blocked them. He goes through the sides at the bottom. He's made holes down there. You don't want the top open. Most hamsters use the top holes, but he don't. Okay, so have a nice day. And there's the tree house. Have a nice day, and we'll catch you in another video. Bye now.